Hello again and welcome to another edition of Suds and Country. Hi, I'm Herb Suds and welcome to the show. We have a special guest. We have Nashville recording artist, Asylum recording artist, Bryan White with us on this show. Bryan, how you doing? Good. Rose, how are you today?
I'm great. Welcome to the show, Bryan.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Thank you.
All right, your current album is How Lucky I Am. It has a new positive attitude. Explain what positive attitude means.
Well, actually, there's never really been that much to complain about, in my life and my career, and everything's been so great. And I don't want to make it sound like it's all candy coated and perfect all the time, because it's not. But there's just a lot of great things, a lot of great blessings that I'm thankful for. And this album was to be a very positive album. And there's just so many wonderful things that I've been given, and it was sort of my time to really do an album that was totally positive and something that was happy and didn't have anything negative about it. So that's what I wanted the album to be, a real feel-good album.
More risque, sexy vibes. That's some of the descriptions, some of the descriptive terms I've read about it. Said you reinvented yourself for this one?
Oh, well, a little bit. I mean,
Okay.
to a certain extent. As the first record I produced some tracks on, co-produced.
Right.
And so, yeah, there was a little bit of a risque vibe in some areas, of the record. But there was also a lot of elements that were, that I've always used in making music. I think there's a lot of sort of remnants of older things I've done too. You can hear a lot of that in there too. But I'm always trying to stretch out and do something new with each record that I do.
What heroes have played on this album?
Let's see. Some of my heroes that were involved, Max Carl, who was a big, huge pop singer. He sang the hit "A Heart Needs a Second Chance," and he was also in a big band back in L.A. called Jack Mack and the Heart Attack.
I remember that.
Mac McAnally played a guitar on the record. One of the best songwriters, guitar players, singers in Nashville. Steve Warner played guitar on the
Can't get
record.
better than Steve.
No, and all the people that played are just studio musicians, and all the guys that are in my band, they all played, and they're all big influences to me as well too. Just being able to travel with them a lot every day and stuff.
You're Still Beautiful to Me, a #1 single on How Lucky I Am. It's a sexy love ballad. How long did it take you to get it right?
You're Still Beautiful? Let's see.
You road tested that.
No, yeah, we did. We actually played that for like 2 years before we even recorded it.
Right.
So we wanted to sort of get the whole feel of what the crowd and what the fans thought about it, and it ended up being, to this day, it's still our biggest successful selling single as far as the charts go. So
Wow.
So how long did it take me to get it right? Let's see.
It took 3 times?
I don't know. I sang it. We worked on it quite a while until we finally thought it was the right thing.
You road test other songs?
Yeah, some things we always go out and play things that we think we may be getting ready to record, just to kind of see what everybody thinks, what the vibe is out there.
You wore 2 hats, singer and producer?
Yeah, on this record it was sort of a new thing for me, a new goal I sort of set for myself. I wanted to produce a record, and I co-produced 6 tracks with Derek George, and then the other 6 Dan Huff did, and it was just another learning curve for me, and it was fun. Although at the same time, I think it was a real task. It was really hard to wear 2 hats, because being an artist and a producer at the same time, you're very, you're kind of, you never know when to say, okay, let's stop.
Had to get it right.
Yeah.
That song was written by Mutt Lange and Bruce Adams?
Actually, Bryan Adams, yeah.
Oh, Bryan Adams, okay. Rose?
How about if we go back to your high school days? Go way back here. Now, you graduated from high
trying to
school.
forget those
Sorry. We'll make it real brief. You graduated from high school in '92, and you moved to Nashville to start your career. Were there ever any doubts in your mind back then?
Well, back then I was so green and naive and sort of, I thought I was invincible at the time. I just didn't really know what was going on. I was just in a cloud, in a big haze, and I had a couple of really good opportunities that opened up for me at an early age before I got out of high school, and I just took them and kind of added that to the fuel and took off and went straight to Nashville, and so I guess I wasn't ever worried at all. I mean, I guess now if I tried to do something at this age, being a little smarter and a little more poised in life, you know, I would have probably been a little more nervous if I was just now doing it. But then, being young and naive and green and not really knowing what's going on, I think that was the blessing, so to speak.
Now, your mother and your father were both professional musicians, correct?
Yeah, my dad and my mom were both musicians. They played all kinds of different styles of music. My brother actually plays. It's sort of, music's always been a big thing in my family, and I'm glad of that because they always listened to all kinds of different kinds of music. My great-grandmother was a square dance caller, so that was real country, and my dad was sort of listened to, you know, a lot of R&B and funk and you know, southern rock and country, and my mom was into all kinds of music, and so it was really good for me to learn, you know, it sort of helped me to kind of form what I do nowadays, you know.
Sure.
So.
Now, your mom opened for Loretta Lynn when you were 10 years old?
Yeah.
And you were there?
That was the first show that I ever attended was a Loretta Lynn concert. My mom was with a band, and they were opening for Loretta, and I tell you, it was one of the first big things that set me on fire, wanting to, you know, whether it was playing drums or guitar or being an artist or anything, just I wanted to be involved in making music somehow, and that was the first thing I remember really setting me afire there.
Sure. Who were some of your other influences?
Some of my influences, Steve Wariner, who I mentioned before, is probably one of my biggest influences. Max Carl, who I mentioned before. Let's see, Ronnie Millsap. I'm a big Nat King Cole fan. There's just a lot of great artists out there. Bonnie Raitt, a lot of people that have really influenced me a lot. But the first Vince Gill. There's just a list of mine that could go on forever and ever. Amen.
George Strait. Or Randy?
Yeah, Randy.
Travis.
Why don't we take a break and show how lucky I am, you're still beautiful to me. All right? How long did it take you to tape that?
The video, we did that in a day. Normally, there's only been a couple videos it's been a 2-day shoot, but this one here was a 1-dayer.
Who came up with the concept of the old couple and the young couples and talking about how long they've been married?
I sort of came up with that concept. I didn't really come up with it. I was just, I've seen When Harry Met Sally about 100 times, and
Okay.
I thought, well, you know what? It sounds sort of like a kind of a scenery that I'd like to set for this song.
On your earlier 3 albums, you had some songs that were pretty sad.
Well, yeah, I didn't realize it at the time, but I guess I just knew that they were great songs. But yeah, there were a couple that were sad, and it's funny. Those are a couple of the biggest hits I've ever had. So.
Number one.
Yeah.
Someone Else's Star.
Uh-huh.
Was a sad song. Was a number one for you.
Yep.
Why do you think fans make number ones out of sad songs? Do they relate to sadness a lot, do you think, in general? Just a question.
I don't know. You know, I think when an artist connects with a song, whether it's sad or positive, if they, you know, put their own stamp on the song and make the song believable and relatable to people out there, I think those are the ones that really speak to them and become number one hits.
How did it feel to have a number one hit on? That was your first one on Someone Else's Star.
I remember getting that. I remember when somebody called me for the first time with that, telling me that was number one, and that feeling you can't ever, I don't think you'll ever be able to recreate,
No.
even if you've had other number one records. That one, I'll never forget that feeling, and I'll never probably ever have that again because it's the first time it ever happened, yeah.
You made a comment in one of your articles that said you're only as good as your current single.
Well, that's sort of a music biz term, but yeah, it is sort of true. That's why we're always sort of keeping up with what's going on out there and trying to sort of reinvent ourselves every time and outdo ourselves. And we're sort of I think artists are competing against themselves more than anybody out there. You know, I think we're trying to do our best work every time, and I think that's what I meant when I said that.
From your first 3 CDs, you had 2 platinums, 1 gold, and 6 number ones?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How old were you when you had a number one?
The first number one, I was 20 when I had my first number one.
Were you the youngest platinum selling artist at the time?
I don't think so. I think I was the first, the youngest male artist, I think, country artist to win the Horizon Award. I think that's the only thing that I was the youngest in.
You've
what
done
do you...
duets. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You've done duets with Shania Twain, correct? Who are some of the other singers that you've done duets with?
I did a duet with Steve Wariner and Amy Grant and live when we had the tour with Leanne Rhymes. I duetted with her every night, which all those people were great to work with, and I'm really tickled to have been able to sing with great singers like that.
Who would you like to do a duet with next?
Let's see. Boy, the list goes on with that, too. My mom, I'd like to sing with her sometime. Lila McCann, I think she's a great singer.
How have your shows changed since you started singing in Nashville?
I think just the more you do it, the more you get used to how you want your show to look. And from those early days, I don't get even half as nervous as I used to. And I think I know more of what our fans want to hear when I come on stage. You know, they always want to hear all those hits. They want to hear some of the stuff that wasn't particularly singles off the albums, and they always want to have a lot of energy. You know, I mean, we always have a real power-packed show with a lot of different musical styles, and you get to hear all the musicians in the band kind of contribute their style to the show too as well. So for musicians it's a great show, but for fans it's a great show, and for people that just want to have a great time, it's a good show too.
You've had some hits that were used in movies, isn't that correct?
Let me think. I sang for a couple of soundtracks. One was The Traveler. It was a Bill Paxton movie. I sang a cover for that movie. It was Rockin' Robin. It was the old Jackson 5 song, and also I sang for the character Garrett in the movie Quest for Camelot.
Okay.
And but I didn't have any hits that were radio hits of mine in soundtracks. But those are the closest things that I've sang that have come to the silver screen up there. So.
Okay.
What was Tom Sawyer, an animated?
Yeah, Tom Sawyer was an animated home video is what that was. You know, I haven't even heard that yet. I look forward to hearing that one day. I heard it turned out good, but that was another experience that was real fun for me. I love doing things that involve kids.
How about Disney, Wish Upon a Star?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was the best of country sings the best of Disney, and I got to sing When You Wish Upon a Star on that album, and it was a lot of fun. That's probably one of the neatest recordings of any song I've ever done there.
What do you do for the NFL?
I sang for it was actually for the United Negro College Fund, I think is what we did it for, and also we did it for the United Way too as well. We did it. It was called "We're All in This Together," and it was Billy Joe Walker Jr. and Steve Wariner wrote the song, and I sang in that theme song for the NFL, and also I sang a duet with Ezra Tuala from the Atlanta Falcons, and he's just a awesome singer too. And we did a song called "Do Right by Me," and so that's how I was involved with the NFL, and also I was sort of I was the national anthem kid last year. I sang at so many different pro football games, and it was so much fun to go to all these different games and just keep up with everything throughout the whole year.
Amazing Grace, wasn't that a gospel album?
Yeah, Amazing Grace 2. And we actually won a Grammy for that record.
Okay.
And, I just did a medley of 3 of my favorite gospel tunes and had a choir of all my artist friends on the record too as well.
Is that the one? No, I'm thinking of the Maverick Choir. That's another one I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Amazing Grace, they think that. And when you won an award in 1999 with the one with Shania, From This Moment On?
Yeah, I think, I'm not sure what that was. I'm hazy on that one. I don't remember winning anything on that particular song.
Grammy Award?
I think it may have been nominated, but I don't think I ever won anything. It was a #1 country record, though.
You've been quoted as saying that one of the things that you want to accomplish is to reach a large audience, and that your goal is to pull people into country music who weren't there before. Do you think you've accomplished this goal?
Well, I don't know if I've been the main source for that, but I mean it's been one of my goals, and I think I think my music's been I'd like to think it's been part of the youth movement in country music. I mean, I think I've always tried to be somebody that's kind of got good morals and great music for people to look up to too as well. So.
You were voted one of the 50 most beautiful people by People magazine. How did that feel?
Well, as you can see, I look real beautiful right now. It was very flattering. It was a big deal. I mean, it sort of took me by surprise. Of course, all the guys out here on the road picked on me a lot, but But you know, I thought it was a real flattering to be in there with all those great actresses and actors as well.
I think it definitely is. What do you think of the state of country music today?
Country music right now, I think, is sort of in a transitional phase. It's a lot of new things happening in it as well. A lot of people are offended because, you know, there's been a lot of tough talk of country music becoming too pop or too commercial or whatever it might be. But I think there's room in country music for everything, and country music, as even you know, even aside from country music, there all kinds of music is constantly changing. There's nothing you can do about it. The great thing is, the music that of the past is always there on tape for us to be influenced by and to listen to. But yeah, country music's always going to be changing, and I think there's, because of you thank God for so many you know, innovative artists, you know, Shania Twain and Garth Brooks and so forth, that have done so much for country music and in expanding it, you know, and bringing more people to it. I think that's awesome. So I think regardless, it's always going to be changing.
Are there any stylists out there like there used to be in the old days with Johnny Cash and Ernest Tubb? And, you know, when you heard Johnny Cash record come on, you knew that was the Tennessee Three, Picking
Yeah.
Away.
Oh, yeah.
And E.T. was on there, you know, you knew that was the Troubadours.
Yeah. You know what? I think one of the true stylists today, or you know, I think you definitely know when Vince Gill is on the radio. You know when he comes on. I still think I still people may disagree with me, but I think the Dixie Chicks are doing something that's very different that a lot of people aren't doing, and it's country music too. It's not out there. They're making great records too. Those are two of the people I think that are definitely have a real strong identity.
I understand that your fiance is an actress. Is that something that you would ever consider, an acting role?
No, I'm not. I'm not really an actor. A lot of people ask me and try to encourage me in that field, but I've done a couple things, but it's not something I want to kind of base my whole career off of. If the right part came along, I might kind of be a little adventurous and go out there and do some stuff, but primarily I'm just a singer and artist, you know.
That's enough, right?
Yeah.
How did you meet your fiance?
We met at a benefit in L.A. actually for cystic fibrosis about 3 years ago. So yeah.
And how did you propose?
Actually, I proposed here in Jackson, New Jersey, actually about 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, at Six Flags?
No, not here, but
Okay.
back over yonder,
Really?
back that way.
Okay. Over
So-
there.
Yeah, back over there.
Has being in love changed your outlook on life and music?
Yeah, I think being in love has changed a lot of things for me. I think it's made me a more calm person. It's made me more, I think, a more poised person as far as in life. And I think I'm just a little bit more of a considerate person than I was before. I think, yeah, it's always inspiring me even more now. I mean, when I'm writing songs and when I'm performing and all those things.
What effect do you think it'll have on your fans and your career?
So far,
Fans especially.
So far, it's been wonderful. Everything has
all the
been
way?
so positive.
Good.
I haven't heard a negative word, you know, and I think it's just continually influencing me in any way.
It's been said that you're a relentless perfectionist. Is that true?
Yeah, I think too much sometimes, you know, but I think goes with every artist, guitar player, musician, drummer, keyboard player, whatever. Everybody's always going to be, you know, kind of particular about what they do, a real perfectionist. And some people take it too far, and some people know just when to quit. And you know, it just depends on the person. But yeah, I have a tendency to try to be too perfect sometimes, I guess.
Bryan, it's been a pleasure, sir, having you in Sedson Country.
Thank you.
Thank you very
My
much.
pleasure.
Well, till next time, when Bryan White's in your neighborhood, be sure you catch him because he does a great show. See you next time in Sedson Country.
Bye-bye, everybody.